Once upon a time in the land of neural networks, there lived a clever little bias named Benny. Benny was a special helper who lived in the layers of a magical machine called a deep neural network, DNN. This machine was designed to help people recognize pictures, understand voices, and even play games. But one day, something strange happened. Benny noticed that his friends, the activations, were feeling a bit off. They were supposed to shine bright and help the machine make good decisions, but something was wrong. When the machine tried to make its decisions using low-precision numbers, like 8 bits instead of the usual 32 bits, the activations started to shift and change. This made the machine confused, and it didn't work as well as before. Benny learned that this problem was called mean activation shift, MAS. Let's pause Benny's adventure for a moment and dive deeper into what caused this problem in the first place. When a neural network is converted to a smaller, low-precision version, a process called quantization, small errors occur because the network's numbers are rounded to fit within fewer bits, like 8-bit instead of the usual 32-bit. These errors happen in both the weights, the internal numbers the network uses to make decisions, and the activations, the results of calculations at each layer. However, these rounding errors are not always evenly spread. Instead, they create tiny shifts in the network's calculations. As the information flows through the layers of the network, these small shifts build up and push the network's behavior away from what it was originally trained to do. In simple terms, if each layer slightly shifts the output, these small changes add up, causing the network to produce less accurate predictions or results by the time it reaches the final layer. This problem is especially noticeable in lightweight networks like MobileNet, which have fewer parameters and less ability to handle these shifts. Bias correction helps fix these shifts, ensuring the network's output stays close to what it should be, even after the quantization process. Now that we know what went wrong, let's jump back to Benny's world and see how he plans to fix it. It was like when you're trying to play a game, but someone keeps moving the goalposts. The activations were supposed to be in a certain range, but after quantization, they were all mixed up. Benny knew he had to help his friends. Benny had a brilliant idea. He decided to use his special powers to correct the shifts in the activations. He thought, if I can just add a little bit to my friends, they'll be back to their happy selves. So he came up with a plan called Iterative Bias Correction, IBC. But Benny knew he couldn't do it alone. He needed the help of the other biases and the layers of the network. They all gathered together to discuss the plan. Benny and his friends set off on an adventure through the network layer by layer, starting from the first layer all the way to the last. Each layer was like a room in a big castle, and they had to make sure everything was in order. Layer by layer, Benny and his friends would look at how the activations were behaving in each layer. They would compare the original activations with the quantized activations. It was like checking the score of a game before and after a big play. Finding the shift. For each layer, Benny would calculate how much the activations had shifted. He would say, let's see how far off we are. This was like measuring how far the goalposts had moved. He would take the average of the original activations and the quantized activations to find the difference. Adding the correction, once Benny found out how much the activations had shifted, he would add that amount to his bias. "Don't worry, friends, I've got your back," he would cheer. Repeat. They would do this for each layer, one by one, until they reached the end of the network. Benny was very careful because he knew that changing one layer could affect the next one, so they had to go in order. It was like a chain reaction, where one small change could make a big difference. Let's take a closer look at how Benny's plan, Iterative Bias Correction, IBC, works in real life. Bias correction adjusts the bias values in the network to cancel out the shifts caused by quantization errors. One common way to do this is through Iterative Bias Correction, IBC. This method compares the outputs of the original and quantized networks and makes small changes to the biases, one layer at a time. IBC is a quick and simple solution, needing only a small number of test images to get good results, making it ideal for fast deployment. Now that we understand how bias correction works, as they journeyed through the network, Benny and his friends faced some challenges. Sometimes the activations would still feel a bit off even after the corrections. Benny realized that the quantization process could be tricky, especially for layers with small kernels, which were like tiny windows that looked at the data. He remembered that small kernels had less opportunity to average out errors, making them more sensitive to shifts. "We need to be extra careful with these layers," Benny exclaimed. So they took their time and made sure to adjust the biases just right. After a few rounds of adjustments, Benny and his friends noticed something amazing. The activations were shining bright again, and the machine was working much better. It could recognize pictures and voices just like before. The once confused machine was now a superstar, ready to take on any challenge. Benny felt proud of his work. He had helped his friends overcome the mean activation shift and made the machine smarter. The other biases in the network cheered for Benny, and they all celebrated their success. They threw a big party in the castle of the neural network with lights and music, and everyone danced joyfully. Just like Benny's work, bias correction has both advantages and limitations. Let's take a look at them. Bias correction provides many benefits. It helps recover the network's lost performance after quantization, often matching the accuracy of more complex training methods. It is also fast and easy to use, requiring only a few test images. This makes it a cost-effective solution since it avoids the need for large datasets and lots of computing power. Bias correction works with many different types of networks and devices, making it a flexible tool. Although useful, bias correction has some downsides. It can only fix problems after the network is already quantized, not prevent them from happening. Some networks, like ResNet, may not respond well to this method, and the performance might even get worse. Also, in very complex networks, bias correction alone might not be enough, and further adjustments could be needed. Now that we know the pros and cons, let's follow Benny and his friends to see how they wrap up their adventure. The legacy of Benny. From that day on, whenever the machine needed to be quantized, Benny was there to help with his iterative bias correction. He became a hero in the land of neural networks, proving that even a little bias could make a big difference. Benny also shared his knowledge with other biases. He taught them how to calculate shifts and make corrections so they could help their friends too. The network became a happier place where everyone worked together to ensure the machine was always at its best. And so the clever little bias lived happily ever after, always ready to help his friends shine bright. Benny's story spread far and wide, inspiring other networks to adopt the magic of iterative bias correction. The end. Just like Benny and his friends, bias correction ensures that neural networks stay accurate and effective, even after quantization. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video and learned something new, please like, subscribe, and tap the bell icon to stay updated with more fun and informative content on deep learning. See you in the next video.